Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Ariana Rollins, and we're doing the Remove Your Blocks to Manifesting and Claim Your Freedom. As we're waiting for others to join us, if you'd like to put in the chat bar where you're calling from and your name, that would be great. I'd like to get to know who's here. And grab some paper and a pen. We'll be doing an interactive part of the webinar where I'm going to want you to visualize and write things down. And obviously, the most important part is to remove the blocks. So I'm going to guide you through an exercise how to do that. All right. Great. I can see a few people joining us. Wonderful. Welcome. All right. So welcome, friends. I'm so happy to have you join us for this new Remove Blocks to Manifesting and Claim Your Freedom. And really, we're talking about the freedom and what that means to you. Because for those of you who have already been on a path of personal growth and development, freedom means different things. I think when we're first starting, freedom means we want to be financially free. And but that is wonderful. But what does that really mean? It usually means we have freedom to do whatever we want, go where we want, and enjoy life fully. And the first thing that we think of is money, because money would enable us to do that. So, for those of you who are new to working with me, this is going to be an experience of mind expansion and heart opening. At least I hope so. And for those of you who've been here before, welcome. And you know that what all we do together is all on about self-discovery and re-empowerment. So I'm going to be sharing with you a way to transform your life, but not just from a philosophy and feeling better about where you are and where you can go, but with very practical, tangible ways, step by steps. So one of the truths I resonate with very deeply is that everything in life is energy. And within every one of us is the energy that makes the sun rise every day, keeps the planets aligned, and it's there. It's already inside of you, waiting for you to know it. And when you tap into that connection with Source, that miraculous energy, what I know for sure is that the universe rises up to meet you in unimaginable ways and will help you create the changes that you deeply want. So if you're ready to remove blocks to manifesting that maybe have filled you with doubt, scarcity, fear, worry, you are in the right place. Can you relate to any one of these? Maybe currently or maybe in your recent past. That maybe you feel that you've made some mistakes, some decisions, some choices, and you don't want to repeat them. So you're kind of hesitating moving forward. Or do you doubt that you have all that you need, all the capabilities to be able to manifest something, to accomplish that goal? Or are you on the verge of a new adventure or a lot of change in your life? And you really want to be successful at this. Maybe you're really good at attracting things, but sometimes they don't pan out. Or maybe you're just hard on yourself and you want to be happy. You want to trust in life again, but you just don't know the steps how to get there. So these are really three common worries is how to maintain authentic, loving relationships. Now, a lot of us think we are authentic, and I tell you, I really felt I was being authentic in my last relationship. And after we ended it for, very good reasons, I looked back and I said, I wasn't. I was trying to please him. I was trying to be someone I really wasn't because either to avoid his anger or that I wanted love. So authenticity is really important. And for true loving relationships, sometimes we have to risk offending somebody. So these three biggest worries are very real. I can relate to every single one of them. Can you? Do you feel a connection with your purpose? Do you have a clarity of who you are and where you want to go? Or maybe you're challenged right now with kind of making ends meet and you know that you can make more money, but it's just not happening. And you really want a balanced life. These are all really important things. If you're on a spiritual path, you know that we've got to deal with the material worlds too. Otherwise, it takes us away from what we really want to be doing, which is being a loving human and enjoying life while we're here. So let's make this time count while you're here. I will give you my best of everything that I know in the most simple, direct way, especially for those of you who are new to me. And I invite you to turn your phone off if you've got the beep, when messages come in, maybe shut out social media and just expand the screen if you're on the webinar and see the slides fully. The images are rich. They're chosen for a purpose to connect you to something. Really be with it. And I've been told over and over again that there's an empowering energy when people attend these live trainings. And the more focused you are on what is on the slides and what we're covering, the more you're going to get access to. And it's not my energy, it's actually you, it's within you. But what we're doing together is to remove that resistance so you can connect with that power within yourself. I'd like you to think about, maybe you know already, what's hard about making the change or accomplishing what you want. I invite you to write it down. You might get some new insights. What's the biggest trigger that causes you to doubt yourself? Is it your partner? Is it your child? Is it your boss? Or is it just inside your head? What drains your passion, your joy, your love of life? And do you feel right now in your most important relationships, can you be your authentic self? Can you rock the boat? Now, if you've got like some good content that you've written down, that's wonderful, because you're going to be able to use that later on when we start working on removing the blocks to manifesting. And if you don't have anything come to mind, that's fine too, because I guarantee as we go through the class, things will come to mind. I'm somewhat of a trigger for those limiting beliefs to float like cream to the top, and you'll become conscious of them. So what you're going to be getting out of today is part one. We're going to look at recovering that path of ease so you get things done with grace. And then part two, let's look at these primary blocks to manifesting, and yours in particular. And then three, create a future memory. Yep, I mean future. This is a really fun part. And then blocker bypass. Let's remove one of those blocks that you've got going that's preventing you from accomplishing and bringing into reality what you want. And then how to make your vision a reality. And then claim your free blocker clearing gift. And thank you for those of you who are joining us live. You'll be getting access to that in just a little bit. And then a special invitation just for you being on the webinar today. Okay. So I'd like you to consider, let me see, just a moment. I've got something in the chat here. I don't know what change to make. That's a really good one, because sometimes we can really be comfortable in where we are, and comfortability is great because we want to not be constantly fighting our world. But the thing is, if we don't have an idea of where we want to go and what we want to change, it's really hard to focus your manifesting forces. Okay, so I'd like you to imagine, remember back to the last time you saw a child. Maybe it's your own child or a grandchild, or maybe it's just a friend's child, and you're watching them with this open eagerness. Anything was possible. And you saw their enthusiasm. They wanted to learn something new. You saw that huge smile on their face. And they were completely absent of self-consciousness. They believed anything was possible, that they could do whatever it is that they were imagining. They're present and open to life, right? Now picture yourself as a young child before your school days. That may be easy, and maybe it's not so easy. Maybe you have a photograph you'd like to look at later. Can you see that eagerness and open-hearted nature in yourself, in your expression? Good. That's what's possible for you to recover, that joyful, inspired part of you, which is completely free of self-doubt, and it's very powerful. And when you connect with that part, which I like to call the higher true self, then you're able to get it to support support you in what's right for you to manifest. And that's one of the secret ingredients. You know, we aren't trained how to use our brain in school. Memorization is not knowledge of empowerment. And it is possible to retrain your brain for success and to shut down that constant busy mind that keeps you worried. We've all been there, and sometimes me too, right now. Okay, so that's just a little bit about me. I don't want to read all this here. You can look at it later. I think one of the most significant things that I feel I've accomplished is that I went through an 800-hour training to become a cybernetic transposition facilitator. We'll talk more about that in a minute, what that is. It was intense. It was more difficult, more challenging, more self-reflective than either one of my degrees in accounting and psychology. And I think why is because for someone to be effective at teaching another, they really have to teach themselves first and really have to embody the knowledge. And so that was painful. You know, it's like a really introspective period of my time, my life. And it's enabled me to bring these very complex techniques to you and give them to you in a step-by-step fashion. The other thing few people know about me is that I home birthed my son and I homeschooled him as well. Are you starting to see a theme here that maybe why I'm passionate about people claiming their freedom? Because I feel for us to feel like we have choice, it makes all the difference in the world. And that's really that sense of freedom. You have choice. But why listen to me? Well, that's my credibility. That's what I've done. But why should you listen? Well, this body of work I've developed over the past 15 years really amplified itself when I went into a spiritual crisis. I was on the wrong path and I kept forcing it to make it work, even though something inside of me, that soft voice, was saying that I need to take a different direction. I kept forcing myself. And I didn't realize that the goal that I had set was part of my egoic mind and it was not coming from my higher true self. And the result of those 10 years of being committed to a path that wasn't aligned for me, I ended up running through over $300,000 in assets to keep me on this path. And then I went into debt for the first time. Looking back, I see why I was being invited to look at what was not working in my life. And the first time that I started to do that, I started to blame everybody else and everything else. And that's when I started to realize that's just a state of being a victim. If I give an excuse or blame something outside of me, I've given my power away. That was one of the first lessons that I got. So in this fire of torment, I discovered a transformational process that not only gets people reconnected with their true self, but it has a way of creating a harmony so that you can get the support of that higher true self and what you want to accomplish. And really, resistance for me was futile. I was really fighting that spiritual path. But when something is important, maybe it's your destiny, it's going to keep coming back. And if you keep suffering and struggling on the path you are now, I invite you to look at that. Maybe you are meant to be getting on a different path. And who am I or who are you to stop the spiritual momentum of your life? I was getting in the way of this expression. And then suddenly I had a breakthrough around the work I do. And that's what you're going to be invited to today. I'm going to be sharing with you. And I really invite you to be open to that next level of who you are and to imagine you're going to bring forth all the wisdom that you've had from your learning experiences and apply it to your next opportunity. And it's completely possible to do that. I've witnessed that in so many people, and I've witnessed it in myself. So let's talk a little bit about cybernetic transposition. Okay. Students of the law of attraction have told me that there's a lot of guidance around how to visualize and how to really connect with what they want. But there aren't a lot of effective strategies to resolve the inevitable resistance, the blocking energy that comes up when they try to make changes. So they can work hard on the visioning part and be really good at that, but they can get stopped short from taking the necessary action. And anyone who's studied manifestation knows that taking action is essential. So it can be said that cybernetic transposition, this book, How to Get Lots of Money for Anything Fast, is a step-by-step textbook for making the law of attraction and really bring things into physical reality, because it's all about taking action. And if you're not taking action, there's a blocking energy in the way, and how to get rid of it. So what this book does and what cybernetic transposition does, if you think about it, your conscious mind is the deciding part. It's the part that says, I'd like this to happen, I want to have that experience. And then your unconscious, which I like to think is the body, it's the doing part, okay? So it goes without saying, if we don't have access to the part of us that's responsible for the doing, how to get things done, we could be stopped. We're not taking action. So we're in the envisioning stage, which is a really very important first step. So research says that the subconscious, again, is responsible 95% of what gets done in our life. It's the program part. It's the part that drives the car. It's the part that allows us to think for, what we want for dinner, listen to the radio, maybe even talk on the phone while we're driving. But in the past, if you recall, when you first learned how to drive, you probably couldn't even have the radio on and say to everybody, no, don't talk to me, right? Well, cybernetic transposition bridges these worlds between our vision, our desire, and bringing it into physical reality. And if you don't already have the book, you don't have to get it, but if you would like to, you can go to cyberneticmastery.com. So how higher true self work departs from CT and the law of attraction is that what I'm helping you do is to reconnect with your higher true self, with that source energy within you. Because once you've got that online, manifesting becomes easy. Synchronistic moments are like breadcrumbs. They lead you to where you want to go. Another change is that I strongly support the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's written a wonderful book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And his guided meditations are very much in alignment with what we're teaching here, because it's focusing on who we are right now and who we want to be. What do we want to experience? What do we want to accomplish? It's not just being that peaceful, present, in the moment, Eckhart Tolle self. It's actually a wonderful bridge. So that's what you get to learn here. So in this webinar, back to this webinar, we're going to be talking about the blockers that impede you from accessing your most powerful self and how to clear them. Because again, if you're connected with that higher true self, anything is possible. So next part is, let's identify your primary blocker to manifesting. I think this is a really powerful graphic. So for those of you who are on the phone, I invite you to watch the replay, because this is going to speak to you probably of any of the graphics that I've got in the webinar today. So we're looking at wishing, intending, and receiving. Okay, so we know how to wish, most of us. We know what we would like, right? And the wishing part is that visualization part. It's that looking at what we want to experience. Maybe it's a new job, a new relationship, or maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. You can vision it, okay? Maybe you've created a vision board, and maybe you can really connect to that passion within yourself that imagines yourself stepping into that new version of reality. Okay, so if you're good on that, great. You're not blocked around the wishing part. You can envision. Okay. The second step is the intention. Setting the intention and taking action on it. So when you look at intending, okay, so maybe you want to write a book, you want to write a novel. So you've got the vision of the novel. Maybe you want to write a children's book, and you can imagine the characters, and you imagine the storyline. You even see, the drawings in the book. So you've got all that in your head, and actually maybe you brought it into your heart. You're really feeling it, but you're not taking action. You're not writing. You're not looking into possibly finding a graphic designer. You're not doing some research on how do you get a good group of characters to really be, touch the audience as they're reading it. You don't really trust yourself. This is where a lot of blockers can come up. Maybe you get intuitive insights, but you're like, no, it doesn't make sense. I can't really afford to take that training right now. I'll just keep reading books on how to write a book. I don't need training. So if your blockers are around intention, then you're short on taking action. You've got the vision, but you're not taking action. If your blocks are around receiving, this is one that's probably most common for females. And I do not mean to be biased in any way towards females, but I notice that there are a lot of females who are nurturers and givers, and it's hard for them to receive. So they're good on the wishing, they're doing lots of action, but then the opportunity comes where someone says, hey, I'm just getting started in my creative drawing, and I love your idea. I'd like to just help you draw the characters completely for free. And you don't take the opportunity up. So the receiving part is really where the manifesting happens. You're listening to your life, you're responding to life, and you're willing to receive. So this outline gives you a sense of where blockers could be wreaking havoc in your manifestation. So at what point do you get stopped the most? In the wishing, the first, or in the intending, the second step, or third, in the receiving? I'm going to look and see if there's any comments in here. Okay, great. So feel free to type in there, like, where do you notice yourself getting blocked? Because the closer you can get to that self-awareness of, yeah, I'm really great at wishing, but I'm not good at receiving. I like to be the helper and the doer in life. Or I'm really good at receiving, right? Life just flows for me, but I'm kind of feeling stuck. Life's not really rich and changing anymore. Or I'm really good at intending, but nothing ever pans out. Like you attract opportunities, but nothing gets manifested into the physical world. So I invite you to write that down. If you like, you can put it in the chat here. Okay, thank you, Denise. Intention and receiving. The good news is if you're really good at visualization, then that's going to be, and if you get connected with your higher true self, that's going to help you move into the intending, because you're going to know what a right action to take. So anyone else, do you recognize where your main blocker might be? Okay, you can write it down again, or you can put it in the chat bar here. Okay. Decibel, I'm good at intention, but not that good at receiving. Yeah, good one, Decibel, to be aware of that. And you're a man, which means that my perception that primarily affects women is not the case. For men who are in touch with their feminine part, and they're nurturers, they're loving, they're caring, it can be hard to receive, especially for a man, because they are the ones that are taking care of things. They're the doers, they're intending, and maybe they are really great providers. So to allow someone to help is almost like it's a humbling part for a man, and that is definitely blocking energy, because there can be so much help out there if we just allow it and accept it. That's good here. I've got some more. Let's see. Florian says, not good in receiving. Yep. That was me. I'm getting better at it. And then Hitesh's main blocker is intention. Okay. Yeah. When we're blocked with intending, that can often be because we just don't know what the right action is. We're not tuned in yet. And when we get on track and we get that intuition working in that two-way guidance, intending is much easier. And then Sherry says, intention for me, need to get past fear of market research. Now that's an interesting one. Sherry, I'm just getting something intuitive here. If we're, an entrepreneur, like maybe you're writing a book and you go on Amazon and you want to look at what are some really great subtitles and great book covers. I did that recently. I never did that before. And I realized I did have a fear of market research. And this was what was going on for me, and Sherry, maybe it's relevant to you, is that I didn't want to see that somebody had already done that work out there and that find out it was way better than mine, because I felt I would implode and my intention would just go gone. So I don't know if that resonated for you, but thank you for sharing that. Um, Veronica, great. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so um, thank you for letting me know that you need to jump off early. I'm thinking we'll be going about 60 to 90 minutes. So if you have to jump off early, I will send the replay out. And then Atesh says, I doubt myself and don't take action. So what I'd like to do now is really speak about some wonderful ideas out there that on the face of it look like they could be the solution, but then maybe why they fall short. And then I'd like to ask for Veronica to step forward, and she's been working with these processes for a while, and I think she's got some insights, especially for those of you who are new, or maybe you're kind of exploring and kicking the tires, so to speak, and thinking about, yeah, I'd like to learn more about this. So right after this slide, I'd like to bring Veronica forward. So let's look at blocking energy. Well, blockers live in duality, live in the right and the wrong, the black and white, and they really act like wild horses running at full speed. And often in really non-productive ways, they hurt you, which means if you've ever felt like you failed at something, a relationship, a job, or something else that was really important to you, what happens is even if you were very present and you gave it your best shot, the failure gets embedded in that attempt. And that can also give understanding if you're blocked around the intending, that there's blocking memories in there. So with blockers, what happens is we can go at full steam and then we can hit a roadblock and we can get stopped. So what a blocker is, it's really an avoidance mechanism. It's trying to keep us from making yet another mistake. And on the one hand, that's great, right? We don't want to be making mistakes, especially if we're 30 or 40, 50 years old. We want to be successful at what we initiate. But what can happen is that blocking energy, that blocker is saying what you're about to do is just like what happened last time, but you're not conscious of it. You just feel that hesitation and you don't take action. So blockers running at full speed can really waste our energy, because it's like we're moving forward with something and then we stop and we're pulled in two different directions like wild running horses. So now I want to bring, can anybody relate to that? Because I know that I've had this. So I find myself in the past, I would definitely have all these great ideas and I'd plant all these seeds and I take all these intentions. And then I'd sit back and I think, okay, they're just going to manifest themselves. And an opportunity would pop up and then another opportunity would start to pop up here and I'd be dispersed. Or I'd try to do it all and I'd just be flat out exhausted and I'd have to go into kind of recovery retreat hermit mode. So it looks like Hitesh says he can relate to that. So now I'd like to bring Veronica forward as we talk about, positive thinking and alone and why it doesn't create permanent change, and maybe a little bit of for Veronica what she's found and with her experience. So let me see, Veronica. Okay. I'm just realizing I didn't check to see if I can bring you forward to speak, Veronica. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I can. So Veronica, if you'd like to unmute your line, if your line's muted. Yeah, yeah, if you'd prefer, you can write it down. Sure. Yep, yep. Yeah. So while Veronica's writing that down, speak about this. Now, let's go a little bit more into how your unconscious, your body, holds your history and it maintains these blockers, these beliefs. Think about it like this. We all have blind spots. We all have areas we just don't want to look at. Maybe it's from past mistakes, and there may be just it's a weak area of us, ourselves, and it becomes a hidden weakness. Now, we're usually aware of our weaknesses, but blind spots are much more tender. And this is where blockers love to live. So we protect ourselves from scrutiny. We don't ask for help. We don't receive the help, even when it's offered. And so the blockers remain unchallenged. It's like their version of reality is correct. And they cripple our action, they cripple our effectiveness. Well, how does this relate to a beach ball? Well, have you ever held a beach ball underwater, maybe in the ocean or a pool, and you're holding it down and then you let it go? Remember, once you let it go, it just shot up in the air and flew out of the water. Well, that's very much the way blockers work. Okay? They express themselves with a power and intensity that it's almost like you can't control what's going to come out of your mouth. It takes a lot of energy to keep these blockers out of sight and out of mind. But here's the good thing is once you release the emotional energy that was tied to that blocking event, it empowers you in the present moment. It empowers you today. So suppression or doing spiritual bypass is not the true way to personal development because whatever we've suppressed waits until the first sign of weakness and it comes back reaping. Now, this is a common reason why people aren't successful at their objectives because when we get triggered, or when you get triggered, you lose your focus and you lose your confidence, you lack clarity, and you're definitely not performing at your best. That's what blockers do. So, positive thinking and envisioning where we want to be without actually doing the work of taking action or clearing the resistance and the blockers can be really discouraging. And then what we do is we like try to just hide that little weakness, push it down, and keep focused on the positive. It doesn't work overall because eventually we're going to get stressed and that hidden weakness is going to fly like that beach ball completely out into the water. And then you're going to feel discouraged. You really disappointed because you're thinking, wow, all this effort. And look, just one thing that someone said to me, and I lost my cool. I don't know. Can anybody else relate? I know I can. Being a parent was probably the most important personal development task I'd ever undergone because children are so pure and innocent. They just bring up all our stuff. And then growing a business, a socially conscious business, was another huge task and huge opportunity for personal growth. So let's see. Veronica, I don't know if you want to write something down now to share or you would like to speak, then that would be great. Otherwise, I'll go on to the next slide. Okay. So how would you know if you are aligned with the part of you that's pure, the part of you that's powerful, the part of you that you came here to express, that king or queen part? Because most of us think we're just pawns. And a lot of times in our life, we have been pawns of our bosses, of life in general. We haven't felt in charge. When you feel worthy of what you want, it will manifest. That's how you know that you're aligned with your inner potential. A lot of us do not and are not connected with that true self worth. What we see in the mirror is something way more powerful, but then trying to express that, put it into words, is much harder. Permanent change requires a new belief structure, one where you feel worthy of more love or money. Because when you've got that new identity, the one that says, yes, I am the queen of my own kingdom, I am the king of my own kingdom, then changes happen. So I remember with Veronica, she had set an objective that was really important. She's doing some wonderful work out there. She teaches people Chinese astrology, and she also teaches and helps people do their own feng shui in their home. So her work is very aligned with what I'm doing because it's all about energy. So, Veronica, maybe you can share a little bit about your objective. I know you set an objective around becoming a more heart-centered and connecting with the audience speaker, because speaking is important. And maybe you can share a little bit about what happened when you set that objective and how it unfolded for you.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can, Veronica. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to share my experience with everyone. And my throat is a little goofy lately, so pardon me for that. But I did set an intention for an event that I was going to have, and I was nervous about the speaking part. So when I wanted to speak, because the subject that I work on, it's not easy to understand and to explain. I wanted to do it in a way that it delivered clarity, and it touched people's hearts, as well as appeal in the mind, because it is a system. It is not just a 1, 2, 3 thing. It's a system. So my intention was to have a good event and to help as many people as I could. And yes.
And would you say, Veronica, what was like if we look at your success for your objective, your intention on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being, I mean, really, really successful, where would you say you were on that?
I was definitely at 10. I experienced that when I gave the advice, um, people who had paid for a consultation down the street, a 10-minute consultation or half an hour consultation, came to my table, and I offered free consultations too. And they said, whatever I paid for down there, it's pretty much the same thing. And also, I had a lady who burst into tears when I talked to her about her chart. So that was very fulfilling. And that was my goal, was met, to touch people's hearts. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. You know, you're making a difference. And I do know your work is deep and it's complex. It's almost like someone has to experience it, kind of like my work. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Ariana. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to you guys. What area of your life do you dream of improving? Would you like to rekindle the love and support and passion you once had, maybe in your intimate relationship, or to attract a true, loving, lasting relationship? Or do you just feel you're down on yourself and you're just like, I'm done. I just want to be a joyful person. I know that's inside. You want to get free of the negativity. Or you'd like to make the money you're capable of. Yeah, and so I'd like you to take time now and write this down, please. If there's one area in particular, great, thank you, Hitesh. I want to achieve financial freedom. So I invite you, Hitesh, to start writing down what financial freedom will do for you. What will it enable you to experience? How will you feel when you have it? Because that's the juicy part. That's the part we can work on, because financial freedom is unique to you. Let's see, Alpha says, make the money I'm capable of. Beautiful. And again, Alpha, write down when you're making the money you're capable of making, what does that mean? What will be possible for you? How will you feel? Connect with the emotions, everyone. Feel the gratitude. Denise, financial freedom. It will enable me to pay off my house, feel good when I have enough money to help others. Oh, yeah, Denise, I can relate to that one. Because when you have the extra money and you're not just in survival, you can then share the bounty with others, and that feels really good. So let's go a little bit deeper into this. I'd like you, if your area of choice to work on is to an intimate relationship, a deeper connection. If you're currently in a relationship, do you feel misunderstood, lonely, or unsupported? Do they not see you? Maybe you feel like you want to create a more spiritual relationship, and maybe you're the one into spirituality and your partner's not, but you love them, you want to invite them into it. I'd like you to connect with that a little bit. Or perhaps life's taking a toll on you. You're working really hard and there's like this negativity that just seems to keep you pressed down. So don't skip past this question, please. Where is life taking a toll on you? Where do you feel you just have to accept? You're chained, like this elephant is chained and has no choice. Maybe your health is being stressed from work. Has life stressed you so much that you've lost your enthusiasm and joy? Denise says finances, that's where it's taking a toll. Yeah, major stressor if you're struggling to make ends meet. So let's look at that last one here, is financial difficulties. And I'm sure we could all relate here. And maybe you're currently in this situation. My best strategy, if this is happening to you right now, is first to look at where you are giving your resources, giving your energy, where are you giving your time and money? Are there things that seemed that they would be able to help, but they haven't delivered? Maybe it's time to let them go. Maybe it's time to recover your energy and your time. Maybe even taking the hard stance of writing a budget. I remember when I was getting control of finances, I followed Dave Ramsey's Financial University, I think it's called, and he suggests going completely to cash and having envelopes. So a certain amount of money was for food, a certain amount of money was for like going out, a certain amount of money was for utilities. It was very valuable because it made it conscious. And then I started, wow, I didn't realize how much I was spending. So sometimes this balance, is us looking at where we are spending money. And sometimes blockers can really live there. There's a lot of blockers for, I think, the American mindset, because we were trained it was okay to live on credit. I've got a wonderful friend who's been my webmaster for many years. He lives in Germany, or now he's moved to Nairobi for a while. But he said in Germany, credit cards, they don't do that. Everything's cash. So it can be just also the circumstance. We were just brainwashed with it. So let's see, Denise says here, she wrote a budget and started getting food at the food bank. That's interesting. So yeah, you can do whatever it takes to manage things. Yeah. So if you've been trying to make this change for a while, do you feel like you've hit a brick wall? And you just want to wake up one day and it's fixed. You want it gone. You want to move that brick wall out of the way. So I'd like you now to start select the area of life you'd like to, that's bothering you the most and where you'd like to experience the most transformation. And before we do that, before we go into the visioning part, I'd like you to just really be honest with yourself here. And I'd like you to write down if any of these relate to you, and write down how many relate and put it in the chat bar. So here's some signs you're not connected with your inner potential. You dwell on past, quote, mistakes you made. Maybe it's an opportunity you let pass. You're obsessed with what's not going right in your life. You don't have a lot of hope for tomorrow, the future. Maybe you've got pain and it's just not going away. You're easily taken off your path, maybe by helping others. You feel a little isolated, like no one's supporting you. You doubt. You doubt your ideas, you doubt yourself, or maybe you put others' needs way ahead of yours. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many did you say yes to? You'd like to put that in the chat bar here. Or just write it down on your paper, because those are signs. Okay, Alpha says to 1, great, good job, that you're not connected with your inner potential, that powerhouse, that source of energy that can literally move mountains out of the way. Florian says, it's just one. I put others' needs way ahead of yours. Okay, your own. Easily taken off your path. Okay, you doubt, right? Okay, good job, everybody. Good job. Because the first possibility for us to change is that we have to get real. We have to be aware, right? So here, let's go on the other side. Signs, these are you're operating from your highest vision of yourself. And it may be that this happens on one day and then it goes away. And that's what happened for me. And then it's more constant now. So we've got, you wake up feeling grateful. Like you open your eyes and like, oh, another day. I'm just so grateful for my life. You have the energy to complete your intentions. You've got good luck. And it just seems like, wow, lots of good things happen. You bounce back. You've got great resilience. And you have a network of support people, heart-centered people who get you. Your work feels aligned with who you are. How many of these? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here. How many of these do you resonate with? Great. I wake up feeling grateful, happy, beautiful. Super, super, Denise. Thank you. So you can be adding those up. And then let's look at this. Signs of alignment with, Alpha's got great luck. That's a great manifesting force. Super, super. Signs of alignment with higher true self. You feel whole, like you don't feel there's something wrong with you. You're not fixing something. Okay, great. Thank you. Decibel, I'll call on you in just a moment, right after this slide. Decibel has also been following this work and he'd like to share a breakthrough that he had. You have this rock solid self-esteem. So even if somebody says something to you, it doesn't go in because it's like, you know, that's their issue. You feel like there's no need for you to perform to somebody else's expectancy. You don't have a feeling of fraud. And that's a big one for entrepreneurs. Like, who am I to be teaching this? Who am I to be helping people? Who are you not to, right? The fraud feelings aren't you. You just have this clarity. You have no fear of conflict. You say what your truth is. Authentic. You trust your feelings. You take action. Denise says she scored 0 on this page. I was like that, so I can so relate. So relate. And that's where this higher true self work came. It helped me get out of that plane of mind and thinking and situation. Yeah. So you trust your feelings, you take action, right? You're articulate, you're relaxed, you're alert. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You're immune to negativity. You've got this natural charisma. You notice you attract the right clients and the right friends. And you've got this on tap, higher creative problem solving. So this is pretty evolved, these states of being. So if you get 1 on there, great. If you get more, fabulous. If you get 0, that's okay. That's where I was. That's where I was in 2010. That's where this higher true self work dropped in. And Hitesh says the last one doesn't feel aligned with any of them. Okay, yep, I get that. We're not trained to trust our truth. We're not trained to connect with that source. We're trained to follow the external guidance of others. And then just a moment, I'm going to read this from Veronica, and then I'm going to ask Decibel to come forward. So Veronica says, this program has helped me align to my true self, trust my feelings, and take action. Beautiful. Thank you, Veronica. Yeah. Okay, so like Decibel, if you're able to share just a little bit, like one of your breakthroughs would be great. See if I can connect you. There you go. Okay, now you should be able to speak, Decibel. Just a moment, it's spinning. And true self, this higher true self, is a state of awareness. It's not a thing, it's not a mood, it's not a sensation, or it's not a feeling. It's a state of awareness that you operate out from, that it's your home base. Yep. Yes, A Course in Miracles does help you. I was studying that a couple years ago. I was listening to the audiobook. It's beautiful work, and it really gives a great picture of all the clever ways the ego tries to disempower us and believe that those things are important. Yep. Okay, it looks like, Decibel, you've switched to the telephone. Let me see if I can You looks like you're muted. Okay, we'll go on, and Decibel, just you can keep trying, or you can share in the chat bar and I can read it. Okay, great. All right, so who's ready? Ready to claim your freedom, whatever that is? Would you like to give yourself permission once and for all to fly high and start to create your dreams? Now, you know, the best way to cope with change that we're all faced with on the planet is to be the one making the changes. Be proactive, lead the charge, so to speak. Who's ready to do that? Because we are going to go into the fun part now to create a future memory. Great. Alpha says, I am super great. So if you've got, don't have paper, please take a moment now to get some paper. And I'm going to guide you through an exercise here to create a future memory of you stepping into that whatever change you want to make, that it's already happened, because that's the work we do. It's not looking at your past and recreating. It's taking a strength from your past and making that a launching off platform to create a future memory. And Denise says, great, she'd like to do that. Great, Veronica's excited to do that too. Okay. All right, so it looks like Decibel's having some connectivity problems. I'm so sorry. Come back on the webinar, Decibel. I know you tried to switch to the phone. Thank you for your attempt. Can everybody else hear me? Decibel says he can't hear me. Just want to make sure technology is working okay. Somebody chat. Can you hear me okay? Anybody? Okay, great. Thank you. I thought, oh, I went offline. Okay, let's get to the fun part, everybody. Great. Thank you. Okay, so close your eyes, please. Do not do this if you're driving. And I want to guide you to connect with that source within your higher true self. Close your eyes, please. Take a deep breath in of just calming energy, peacefulness. Exhale out the earlier part of your day. Just be really present in the moment. That's where your power to create is. Picture yourself in a beautiful nature spot. Maybe it's the mountains or the ocean, or you're just taking a beautiful walk with your dog. And you see yourself in your perfect nature spot. Imagine you can take a deep breath in as if you were there. Imagine you can take a deep breath into that high quality air. And exhale out the earlier part of our conversation and all the webinar we've done so far. Let it go. Just be present to possibilities. Good job. Notice your feet flat on the floor. We're going to remove some of that resistance to manifesting. Imagine at the bottom of your feet, you have your own unique roots that ground and center you like a tree. Imagine you could follow one of those roots all the way to the center of the earth. You see a circle of light. Imaginarily plant one of your roots in that circle of light. It grounds you, it centers you, it strengthens you, it aligns you. As you plant that root, imagine that all the resistance that you're holding in your body, anything blocking the love and the light, it's in your cells, allow it to flow down, 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 out your feet into the soil of the earth below. As it starts to leave your body, you might feel some of the resistance leaving and might feel a bit of tingling in the bottom of your feet. Good. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest, right above your heart. Or for those of you who have already been working with me, focus on your inner anchor point, that part of you that helps you visualize and transform blocking energy into empowerment. Focus your energy there, your awareness, and ask to be shown a memory where you felt relaxed, fulfilled, peaceful, satisfied, maybe even loved. You might get an image, you might get an intuitive thought, or you might have a blank. That's fine. Take whatever comes up. If you do get an image, I'd like you to focus on that image and ask, true self, my higher true self, were you present in that moment? And if you get a yes, great. If you get a no, that's fine. If you get a blank, that's fine. If you did get a yes, what that means is that you were being empowered in that moment in time with that source energy. And that's the quality of life that it's been trying to guide you and trying to help you manifest. That's what's possible for you. Okay, keep your eyes closed for just a moment longer. It's now mid-February next year. You've achieved your intention. You used to feel it was impossible, but now you're experiencing it. What did you accomplish? What changed in your life? Where are you? Who are you with? Or are you on your own? How do you feel? Now, I'd like you to take that little snapshot that you just saw and create a memory out of it, a future memory, an imaginary experience that brings in all your senses. So maybe there's smells, like I've got some beautiful stargazer lilies here that just fill the office with this beautiful fragrance. Maybe you're seeing the wonderful manifestation right in front of you. If you want to be a socially conscious entrepreneur, maybe it's the website you created, or maybe it's more money in your bank account, whatever it is. So when you're ready, I'd like you to rate what you saw, that future memory of you making that change, accomplishing that intention on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being very fulfilling, like what Veronica accomplished. She thought was really difficult, and she did it. That was a 10 in success for her, not just an imaginary experience. A 1 means it's not at all. You're not going to have any 1s there. All right. When you get that to a 10, I'm going to guide you to bring it into your body, into the manifesting part of your body, where your higher true self can start to listen and give you guidance. It's a two-way connection, this part of your body here. So imagine you can surround that image of you mid-February, you've accomplished your intention. Imagine you can surround it with a ball of white light, place it into the center of your chest, right above your heart. And I'm going to make the request. This is an example of what I'd like to accomplish, experience, or have in right timing and right action. Please make that happen and unfold in ways that are for the highest good of me and of all involved. And I'd like you to breathe that in and out of your body. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. Now, when you're ready, open your eyes. I'll give you a few moments to write down what you saw. Let's get that future memory written down. Let's take some very inspired action here. Because writing down is action. Taking what you saw in your head, put it on paper. I'll be quiet. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful job, everybody. That gets easier. If it's hard for you to imagine or take action, you might have had some blockers around it. That's fine. I'm hoping everybody got something. So now, let's talk about building the bridge from where you are now and that vision that you just saw, that imaginary experience. You know, just like before a vacation, remember back to how much you got done. You were super excited about the journey. You're really looking forward to it. And that gave you some extraordinary power and focus. Now that's the mindset that you will need to manifest your intentions, that focus. So let's go back to the vacation idea. The trip's booked. You've got to get to the airport, the plane departs at a certain time, and you know where you're going, you're excited, and you know what's going to be going on when you get to your destination. You can just feel it and see it. I want you to become so filled with what you want. You stay on that bridge, so no matter what, you will get to the other side. Okay? When you are focused on your vision, you become immune to blockers, to negativity, to external forces that take you off track. Building the bridge is something that you can do day by day. It's not an instant thing. Because what happens is each blocker you clear, each negative belief you reframe, it builds that bridge one brick at a time till you're on the other side. Okay, so it looks like Victor says there's no sound. Does anybody else, can you hear me? Let me just make sure. Let's see. It looks like I've got sound here, Victor. I'm sorry, maybe try logging back in or use the phone. Okay, great, thank you. All right. Okay, so let's move on then. So let's talk about some of the support structures to build that bridge. You can build an inner success team. What do I mean by that? You're transforming hurts and quote unquote failures. You're actually transposing them, turning them into success empowerment. Even though it may seem like, how do you do that? It's possible because failures are just attempts that we didn't have the successful outcome. There is no failure that we didn't learn from. And so when you get connected with that higher true self, you can turn that wound or disappointment into wisdom. Let's go into more detail what this success team idea means. We have all experienced disappointments, but for the most part, we're not taught how to release it. Animals in the wild, when they've been under a stressful moment, they've just been chased by a tiger, they shake it off, right? They get the energy, the stress out of their body. We don't have a way to do that. We're not trained. But what you can do is you can learn how to do blocker clearings for yourself. So any stressful moment you have now or in the past, you can turn that into a failure. That failure, not turn it into, turn that from failure into a new way of being in the world, a new attitude, a new habit. And each one of those off track moments where you were disappointed can become a strength. And you learn how to do that if you choose to take this work up and build a success team. And in fact, if I don't know if we've got anybody, I think Decibel's still here. And Veronica, if you're still here, maybe you can share a little bit about your experience with the success team, and I'll just write that in. You can just write it in the chat bar. Another thing to do is to help bridge that. You're going from where you are now and build that bridge. Is if you feel down, disappointed at all, is realize that's not you. It's just what happened in the past. And when you tune to that thought and that emotion, it causes you to go like that, be a puddle on the floor. So choosing to move from despair to creation is when you resolve that resistance, when you resolve that blocking energy that's preventing your manifestation from coming into form, you actually open yourself up to creative forces that will make it happen. Again, moving things in what feel like impossible ways. But what do we do if we've got these beliefs that people have said about us, not even beliefs, like they become like a truth. That's who we are. We're selfish. We're, I don't know, we're not creative. We're not an artist. We're not rich, or we're not capable of having money. Because who are we to have money when our family is in a lack and scarcity? So washing away the shadows that make you feel bad about yourself, they're literally lies that are stored in your body, what we would call cell level memories, and they're invisible to us. A sign a cell level memory is running is if you ever have these thoughts, I'm not good enough, and I invite you to write it down, please, and put cell level memory on the top of your paper. I don't deserve love. I'm not smart enough. I don't deserve to be wealthy. I don't deserve to be well paid. I can't trust life. People can't be trusted. Or if I'm successful, I lose all my friends. So what happens is those cellular memories influence your actions today, and they're invisible to you. So literally that's what happens. You're in the same life, but it's like you wash away the fog, wash away the dust that's gotten on the mirror that says who you are and what you're capable of. It's brilliant when you clear one of these cellular memories. So let's see. Denise says financial. Okay, let me go down to the bottom here. Okay, what kind of memory? It's cellular. CELLULAR. It's cell level memory. So what it means is that our cells have intelligence, and there are some um, biologists that speak about there's actually almost like a little brain inside our cells. Well, when a shocking event has happened, maybe in our childhood or young adulthood, we believe that is truth about who we are. And that cellular memory influences, like a radio set, broadcasts to the other cells in your body, and you believe that to be the case. So when we clear a cellular memory, it's literally like you open your eyes and you look around the room and the light is brighter. You feel like joy without reason. It's amazing. So let's go into the next topic about let's remove your block to manifesting. Okay. So hopefully you wrote down your 3D triggers, little typo there, vision. You wrote it down in 3D detail. Okay. Now I'm going to walk you through this, but you're going to do this as an assignment, okay? And I'd like to hear how you get on with this. So you're going to read your vision, you're going to close your eyes, you're going to imagine it happening, and then I want you to open your eyes quickly and reread your vision. There's a reason why I'm doing that, because I want you to see, because now you're building that bridge. Is there anything in there that triggers doubt or fear? If so, I want you to draw a red line through it. Anything that doesn't spark joy. Now, you may have to add a few pieces once you eliminate that block to manifesting. And then I want you to rewrite your vision on a completely brand new piece of paper and remove all negativity. So it's a very good way of getting yourself connected to the highest vision possible. Okay, so that is a great way to get you started, to start to remove the layer of blockage that's keeping your manifesting powers at bay. Okay, let's go on now to gaining access to that temple of knowledge. This is one of my most inspiring images. It's so beautiful. I don't know if you could see it, and it's all 3D glory here. But this temple of knowledge I speak about is not outside of you. It's not going to a university, or even if you were to be trained by Socrates himself. That temple of knowledge is within you. You have access to that knowledge, everything you need when you access your unconscious mind. Your success team, once you've built that, becomes your primary access point. What do I mean by that? So instead of tuning in and all of a sudden you're filled with doubt, you tune in and you bring that success team forward, and it's giving you the next steps, how to bring what you want into physical reality. And amazing as that might sound, all humans are connected to this knowledge. If someone in the past has done what you want to do, you can connect to how they got there. Now, it's not an instant overnight thing. I'm not implying that, but you can access those things that will help move you forward to manifest your vision. You can get practical guidance, like by tuning in to your inner anchor point and asking success team, like, how can I make more money at what I'm doing right now? Is this the right intention for me to work on? How do I turn this conflict in my boss into harmony? How do I get my child to clean his room? You can even ask this, a general one. Do I have any blockers running that are preventing me from successfully manifesting my intention? And yes, you will get the answer. Amazingly so. And then what you do is you clear it. So accessing your co-creator abilities, it's almost like you're living in two worlds all at the same time, two realities, one where you are now and one where you want to go. And I want you to hold that sacred like this. You don't share your intention with anyone until you manifest it. So it's this private little bubble that's within you and you've written it down. This keeps you uplifted and not it keeps you immune actually to other people's doubts and fears, because maybe you've tried to make more money in the past and you've not succeeded, and your spouse has said, you're trying that again, why don't you just accept that's not right for you? Guess what that is? That's an implant, a blocking energy from outside of you. You don't want to pay attention to that, so don't share your intention until you've manifested it. Okay. So part 5, how to make your vision a reality. So you've all got something hopefully written down that's inspiring, makes your heart sing, right? I'd like you to imagine living in the present moment right now. You have no negative history, no blockages in front of you, nothing to hold you back. That you are able to connect with that creativity that lives within you. And I know this is possible. I've witnessed it. I have taught a lot of people how to do these techniques, and I'm still touched deeply when someone succeeds at something that they thought was impossible. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the Highest Potential program, and I'd like to share with you just some of the highlights of what happens when you successfully tap into that inner potential and you start to see your purpose or maybe your destiny. And when you have access to a system that provides the tools to help you release any negativity, any fear, any worry, any doubt, anything that takes you out of being your highest self is removable, and in a very healing, loving way. It's a very gentle way to remove those parts that have been sabotaging. So let's talk about it. It's structured in 4 modules, and each module is about 4 or 5 weeks, and each one is standalone, which is really nice. They build on them until we get to the module 3, that is. Okay, so manifesting with higher self, that's the first module. And how would you know that this would benefit you? Is that you might find you're not very productive. Some days you're really productive and some days you're not. And then you feel like bad about yourself and you procrastinate. Maybe you just get so frustrated, just throw in the towel. Well, the solution is in this module, and it's how to use your unconscious mind to successfully complete projects that are right for you. You start with a wish list and allow the wish list to get done. And you'll start to really connect with that desire and notice that desire. When you're connected with that, it drives your achievement. And then in the next module, this is where you turn any wounds, any disappointments in the past into wisdom. And when you do that, it's a true kind of sense of forgiveness of yourself or anyone else who is involved. How would you know that you'd benefit from this? Well, it could be your confidence goes up and down and you doubt your abilities. You're easily taken off track and you're not being consistent. Or you've got a blocker around receiving. This one would be very valuable too. Well, the solution is you learn how to align your intentions with your heart, mind, and soul to guarantee true fulfillment. And this is the process where you learn the true self-alignment process. Module 3. This is, let me just take a drink of water just a moment. This is where you create your success team. And you actually create a new identity here. Interesting, little frog in my throat. And it creates a mindset of can do. It's quite beautiful. So how would you know you would benefit from this module is you want big things, but you don't know how to make them happen. So you kind of just accept, and you're really good at just being grateful and accepting what is, and you start to give up on these goals and dreams. Well, what happens in this module is you set a deeply desirable target, an objective, and you resolve any blockers that come up that try to take you off track or defy you, prevent your success. And then the fourth module, this one is a very advanced module. I don't know anyone teaching this at all. So let's recap. So module one, you're learning how to manifest. You're accomplishing objectives in an easy peasy way. And then module two is you're connecting with that source energy so you can accomplish something bigger, which you learn how to do that in module three. And then module four is for you to stay on track with that source energy and your higher true self. And if you know, how would you know you'd benefit from this? Is you hold yourself back because of maybe your own fear or insecurity, or of your families or your spouse or friends, that you think like, if I go forward, I'm going to lose all my friends. Maybe you're very sensitive. You pick up other people's moods and you're afraid of anger or conflict. Well, this one module teaches you how to uplift and free yourself. You actually build an inner uplift team, and you build a team that will automatically clear blockers while you sleep. Now, I know we might want to do that in week one, but it takes you some training and some practice, how to know when a blocker is running, how to clear it. So then you train your body to do that for you. You really boost your immunity to scarcity. We are all dealing with a lot of change on the earth, and there are a lot of haves and have nots. And if you're a sensitive person and you want to experience wealth, if you're not okay with you having more than others, that will hold you back. And this module will help solve that for you. So let's talk a little bit about some results that people have experienced with the program, The Highest Potential. Now, these are people just like you and me. These are people who are working, some were employed, self-employed, and they were not like above average people like Bill. He was a salesperson. I think he did insurance, and he kept doubling his sales, and he was recognized by the VP of his company. And he felt really good about that because prior to that, they didn't even see. He was like invisible. And then he noticed he cleared up a health issue. He wasn't even trying to, it just was a side effect. And then Tony went from wanting a divorce to falling back in love with her husband. And then Ralph, he was in sales and he was kind of a gentle giant and very sensitive. And he was able to increase his sales and started to get referral money without any additional effort. And that was beautiful. And then John Milton Fogg, he wrote a great book, The Greatest Networker in the World. He's a lovely man. He increased his income 400%. And he said the thing that really touched him is that he had finally risen above fear, doubt, and worry, and he recreated a beautiful, loving second marriage. And he's got two children with his second wife. Really happy man. So I hope you are starting to see this is a holistic program. It's not focused just on one aspect of changing in your life. Once you learn these tools, you can change any aspect you'd like. This is a beautiful story of Hella. So Hella approached me when she was in Denmark and she was about to be deported. No, she wasn't in Denmark. They were deporting her from Canada to Denmark, and she didn't like Denmark. She didn't want to go back. And so she said, I want you to help me get Canadian citizenship. And I remember this was early on in my career of teaching this. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know if it was possible. She did it. She got an amazing job. So she got Canadian citizenship. She was able to live in North America in one of her most beautiful places. She was living in the Redwoods just outside San Francisco. She got an amazing job. She saved money for the first time ever. She'd never had savings. And now her American citizenship is about to come through. So those are kind of impossible objectives, right? She did it though. And so can you. So here's your blocker clearing gift. I'll put this in the chat bar. And then we're going to talk about a special opportunity for each one of you on the webinar right now. Okay, so you can grab that and click on it and then maybe open it in a new window. Okay, let's talk about what's coming up. So, oh yeah, this is Julia. This is a really deep one. I really had tears when I read this one. So Julia went through the highest potential, I don't know, about 3 years ago, and she says she never feels alone now. She always feels connected with this strength. And that at first she was focused on making money, but now she realized that if she's connected with to that fun, joyful part of her, the money will happen and she's enjoying the journey. That's where I want you to get to, enjoying the journey. She's meeting Ariana and completing one of her courses has been one of the top experiences. She said it rates right up there with having a baby. And so if you're a mother or father, you know how valuable that is. That's why that one touched me deeply. So how would you know if the highest potential program might be right for you? Well, if you're someone who sees living as a spiritual journey and it's a journey of development, maybe you're already an entrepreneur and you'd like to grow your business and you want to be more courageous in your expression. Or maybe you see your spiritual journey as being the best husband or wife or the best parent you can be, and you'd like to clear some of the resistance that's standing in the way of you doing that. Maybe you're on a personal development path and you've read things like A Course in Miracles and you've applied it, or you've read Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle's book, or you're following Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations and his work, and it's gotten you so far, but you feel there's something standing in the way, and you're getting an intuitive sense that this can clear the resistance that's in there and take whatever you're doing right now to a much higher level. You may already feel connected to your dream and you're really motivated to see it in reality. That would definitely, this course would be great for you. You know who this is not for. If you believe life has given you a raw deal and you're feeling like really hurt and victimized by life, you might not be ready for this. Maybe you've given up on your dreams and you think it's just for everybody else and it's not for you. Because what this course is going to ask of you is to be internally motivated and not externally driven, because that's where your power is. So now let's get into some detail about what the support you get in the program. I'll start with a beautiful story. Enlightenment. Are we seeking enlightenment? What is that even? Right? Maybe we are. This is a story from Eckhart Tolle's book, Power of Now. A beggar had been sitting on the side of a road for over 30 years. One day a stranger walked by. "Spare some change?" mumbled the beggar, mechanically holding out his old baseball cap. "I have nothing to give you," said the stranger. Then he asked, "What's that you're sitting on, beggar?" "Nothing," replied the beggar. "Just an old box. I've been sitting on it for as long as I can remember." The stranger asked, "Have you ever looked inside?" "No," said the beggar. "What's the point? There's nothing in there." "Have a look inside," insisted the stranger. The beggar managed to pry open the lid. With astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw the box was filled with gold. "Well, I am that stranger who has nothing to give you and who is telling you to look inside. Not inside any box as in the parable, but somewhere even closer inside yourself." "But I'm not the beggar," I can hear you say. Of course you're not. But those who have not found their true worth, which is the radiant joy of being, the deep, unspeakable truth that comes with it, are beggars, even if they have great material wealth. They're looking outside for scraps of pleasure or fulfillment, for validation, security, love, while they have a treasure within that not only includes all those things, but is infinitely greater than anything the world can offer. So what happens in the highest potential? Well, there are interactive webinars like this, but way more interaction, that you ask questions and you share your successes. And it's a live training like this. We're going to do it weekly on Saturdays at this convenient time, so you can dedicate your weekend to you, your personal growth, or maybe just a few hours. You get PDFs of the webinars. There's action items. So you're going to be applying what you're learning, and there's step-by-step instruction. There's audios to guide you through the exercises. And then there's also accountability. where you have like a workout partner, and it's like going to the mental gym. There's an online learning center that guides your progress through it, so it shows you how far you've gone in the module. And there's a private group where you can share your successes, ask questions, get support between the webinars. And then there's advanced guides by the inventor of cybernetic transposition, Stuart Lichtman. They're unpublished. You can't get access to them any other way. So I wanted to share with you some really powerful exercises that you're going to get. A wish list that to me still boggles my mind how effective it is. You literally write down your wishes, you put them to one side, you continue the learning, and you go back to the list and you see it started to happen already. You get personalized manifesting guidance, which means you get to work with me privately. And then also true self protocols. What do I mean by that? If you're feeling taken off track, if you feel triggered, you can literally tune within and get that guidance of how to turn the situation around to be better for yourself and everyone involved. Blocker clearing processes, including cell level memory, that at first I might support you through how to do that, and then you can do it for yourself. There are some enrollment bonuses as well. There's a class that if it feels right and you choose to enroll today, you get access to breaking through barriers. So you can start to identify that cap, maybe what we might call a financial thermostat, and learn how to raise it. And you can start doing that right this weekend. Manifesting Guide for Intuitive People. It's a book that I wrote and published the end of last year, and people are really enjoying it. It's a way to remove of that resistance and start to recognize some of the blockers that might have taken you off track in the past. And when you're forewarned, you're forearmed. It can't influence you when you know that blocking energy and you recognize it. There are 3 blocker clearing sessions, group dynamic, which is wonderful to get the support because everybody gets to witness and learn how to do the processes. Then there's also some really powerful bonuses. I find that when people learn together, they grow together. So your live-in relationship partner can join you completely free, which is really fabulous. And then there's a wrap-up Q&A session. So after a month, we all get together and you get to ask me questions, and it will highlight anything that you've been trying to put into action that you might have some questions around. And there's also a guided meditation that you get. So I have a special invitation. Now it's your turn. You've been receiving, and hopefully you got value out of this, the time invested. And I really want you to be conscious about your choice right now. Don't let the blockers decide what you're capable of. I know everybody, you have a limited budget and time. And then you also have the blockers that are saying, maybe I can't do it. Or the blockers might be saying, I don't have the money right now. But I'd really like you to sit with it today and over the weekend and really consider if this work is right for you. If you've resonated with anything I've said, if you found your heart opening, if you found yourself feeling uplifted, then I think the work is right for you. So you have also a 1-month trial. You can try it because some people don't know unless they tried something, and there's a full money back guarantee. Now the program usually costs $25.97, but there's an early enrollment special for the next 10 days, and it's $19.97, or you can also do it in payment plans. Your conscious mind, that's your free will, that's your choice, right? But you've also got unconscious programming. So you are the designer of your life, and your higher self is the manifester. So you can co-create whatever it is that you'd like to experience, as long as it is aligned with your higher true self. So are you ready to claim the support you were born to have and take your rightful role? Your higher true self keeps waiting for direction from you. It wants to help. What do you want? What would make you happy? It's your loyal servant while you're here on earth, if you will allow it to be. So take action. I'm going to share with you the link right now and give it a start. Give it a go. because I, for one, had no idea the power of these processes until I tried to apply them in my life. And then what I noticed is it just keeps getting better and better and better. So it's helped me on my spiritual path. It's helped me in my business step in to be more expressive about my values. And then I'm attracting the right people to me. These people who join my programs become beloved friends. There's a true bond and connection. It's a shared experience because I'm growing right alongside you. So in the chat bar is the link. And there is also a 72-hour special just for you for the webinar. If you sign up for the webinar, you get 2 extra private sessions. That means you have 4 private sessions, which is a value of over like total $500. So if this is feeling right for you, a lot of people love the private sessions. I invite you to take advantage of this extra bonus over the 72 hours. So as we start to wrap up here, what you seek is seeking you. That's a Rumi quote, the ancient mystic. I invite you to claim it. Your freedom is there, but you have to take the key. You have to open the door. Otherwise, no one else is coming to open that door for you. You have to take the first step. Are you going to take the first step and join me in the next highest potential? I'd love to have you there. So thank you all for joining me. I really enjoyed the time, and the replay will be posted. Let me know if you've got any questions. Let me know how I can support you. So much love and many blessings. Bye for now.